got a cheap bottle of larceny. Didn't want to spend any money. Rather go spend it on fireworks. I did see a bottle of Penelope or Penelope creme brulee. That one I kind of wanted to try, but I didn't want to spend $70 on it. And really, I need to stop drinking every night. Now we go to fireworks. Stuck behind a freaking motorhome, pulling a car to get on the freeway. Maybe, yeah, he's definitely going that way. Tail lights out. Well, at least I got a yellow light. Cool. Sun coming in. Turn the air conditioning back up. Nothing there. I think I'll just go up 95 to get home, but we'll see once I stop for fireworks. There was no voicemail on the voicemail. I closed the ticket. tech support. Yeah. Who is the guy? Ah, what's he need? Ah. Cool. Well, I left Bucky's at the liquor store. I only bought myself a cheap bottle of I wanted to try. I didn't want to spend a lot of money. We're gonna spend the money at the fireworks store instead. That's 15 minutes up the road. I mean, I'm not gonna go spend a ton of money there either. I mean, yeah, it's the big cool shit, but yeah, I still have California PTSD in the back of my mind and wildfires and shit. They already are warning about the dry conditions in our area, but I'm not gonna buy anything super aerial. Just like a couple of fun fountains that shoot up higher than the ones you can get at home. I mean, hell, the wife already bought the big kit from Costco for $160. That's already got a ton of shit in there. Pick up a pack of Roman candles and a couple of fountains. So, a brand new car has a comp's fault, or is it just one that's in there that had a little bit? Trying the trick, changing the topology to see if it starts working. Yeah. Then tell them the opposite, where you gotta drop the charger out, make sure maybe the DB9 can get disconnected. Check all the other connections. Maybe even unplug the comps from the battery and plug it back in. Like an actual solution, or it's really not a big deal, or well, it's got to be a big deal because if it doesn't charge, that's why. Yeah. Oh, come on, that's the wrong attitude. Cool. Well, I got 15 minutes in the car. I'll go shopping, and then I think I'm just gonna take the fastest way home. part of me was thinking ignore, skip the 95, but it adds an extra half hour. But I don't think the traffic's gonna be bad. It's midday. Yeah. Oh, what? Yeah. About. Yeah. It's probably trying to put more of those 125s in 2019. Yeah. So technically, it can be done. I mean, he might have most of the parts. He might be short a battery harness. So now he's just trying to make it work. No, yeah. So it wasn't a bad phone call. And another reason why the newer ones have it is the screen, and so the controller can talk to the battery, but technically, no, you don't need it. Yeah, but if they didn't put one of those in there, they'd put a non-standard lithium in it. Yeah, yeah, but they'd be on the 210, not the 125. Well, it still could be 30 cells. I don't know. Last night I tagged Cindy on Ultimate's truck ticket that was on customer care, for reprogramming and whatnot. Just say, hey, by the way, this is all done. And then while I was walking around Bucky, she replied to it saying thank you, and all I see is the subject line on the alert on my phone. I was like, oh shit, did Luke reply back? No, it's just her saying thank you. I was like, oh goddamn it, what now, Luke? he would have known that one by Friday because they drove that around and they pulled it back out by the time I got there. So and I drove it. So yeah. I don't think he would have actually asked me that because he's never asked me that before. I did call Dave Thomas because Chris told me to call him on Friday or Thursday when I was driving up there. Like, hey, do you know if any custom programming that was put on these specifically, whatever this community is where these cars are? It's like, no, they never put anything custom on there. It's just a standard LSP. Like, okay. So I did the same one. And then the one I worked on yesterday, I did actually make sure that it turned on and moved forward and moved backwards and then started charging. And at least once I got the update on there, the charger started kicking on correctly. And it still said it had 99%, but that's like surface voltage. He's like, yeah, that makes sense. You gotta let that thing charge all night long. It's like, cool. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not, but let's go check out Jab's Fireworks Warehouse or Mega Mall. It's a big, pretty store actually. I haven't gotten there yet. That's a smoky something over there. It's alright. 74. Wasn't even past you, buddy. I'm moving slowly. Okay. He did get on the freeway after I passed him. He was flying up behind me. I was like, motherfucker, but he's not coming up after me. He was just catching up. That's interesting. That's transport police. What is transport police? Pull over a truck? Alright. Maybe. Because he's like tailing right behind a truck and kind of leaving. He's right near the space. But I got the exit coming up here half a mile. So. Alright, cool. Let me know. Bye. Yeah. going? Oh, we're going to go in that one. Back into the parking spot. All right, we'll leave the stream running. Done fireworks shopping. Stream's still going. Land for sale. Great location. 6.2 acres.
There's an entire Scottish castle for sale on the island. Of course, you want to have a look around, so let's do that right now. It's the price if you want to. So, Isle of Mull, off the west coast of Scotland. I mean, if you want to live a Scottish fantasy dream, this is going to do it for you. Like, listen to these key features. Enchanting coastal estate extending to 3,702 acres. Over 3,000 acres of pasture, rough grazing and hill. 3 miles of rugged coastline. Portfolio of 17 estate properties. So it's not just the castle. Including a Glenbourne coffee shop and holiday rentals business. Of course, you've got the magnificent B-listed Scottish baronial castle with 18 bedrooms. It gets better, by the way. 260 acres of woodland, 3 lochs, including the ancient volcanic loch Serdie Bain. I've definitely pronounced that wrong. If that hasn't got your juices flowing, I don't know what will. Just look at that. That's where you could live. Let's have a look inside the castle. Look at this. This, obviously, with it being a castle, it's going to be pretty brilliant. It doesn't look like it's crumbling, though, which is good. Looks like it's been well maintained. Well, beyond well maintained, actually. Bloody beautiful. And it's back looking out that window onto your own land. Can you imagine lying in the back of your own castle?
hello, Rebel Capitals, hope you're well. So I just discovered a brand new stock market indicator. And what it's saying right now is there is a roughly, I think 67%, to be exactly, 67% chance that we go into a bear market. And not just a bear market, something that could look like a stock market crash, because this indicator has not only just been triggered, but has also triggered its very ominous times in the past, such as the dot-com bust. And I had never heard of this indicator before. So I wanted to do a video today and share this with you guys. So let's go over to Bloomberg. We're going to start there, then hop over to Zero Hedge, where they're discussing kind of the AI capex possibly being a lot lower in the future, which would play directly into what this indicator is actually predicting. So here we go. And that's not it. Good job. Here we go. So look, don't shoot the messenger. This isn't George Gammon saying there's a 67% chance of a bear market. This is straight from Market Watch. They're saying that when this is triggered in the past, or when you get to this point, there's a 67% chance stocks will suffer a bear market. So what is going on here? Let me try to zoom in. Where do you do that? View. Zoom in, please. A bit more, please. Okay, here we go. So the performance difference between the Dow and the NASDAQ, that's the indicator. So long story short, when the NASDAQ gets to a certain point under the Dow, let's just say it's 10% decline in the last, whatever, 6 months versus the Dow. That is a strong, very powerful indicator that the NASDAQ is likely going to continue to go down and possibly pull the S&P down with it. So let's see if they go over some specifics. So performance difference between the Dow and the NASDAQ points to well above average odds that a bear market is not just going to happen, but imminent for U.S. stocks. Look at how the Dow trounced NASDAQ composite over the 7 trading sessions through June 25th. Dow rose 0.5% in this period. The NASDAQ composite fell 5%. So there's a 5.5% spread. Only about 1% of the days since the NASDAQ was created in 1971 have experienced greater trailing 7-day spreads. And many of those occurred prior to major bull market tops. Wow. I didn't know that it was just like a 7-day indicator. I thought it went back. Wow, that's crazy. When you have a 5.5% divergence over 7 days between NASDAQ and the Dow, the odds of a big bear market are almost 70%. Wow, that's crazy. We keep reading. A good illustration is what happened leading up to the internet bubble in March of 2000, where the 10 trading sessions immediately before the day of the absolute top. 7 sessions saw divergences as large or larger than last week's divergence. Again, last week, meaning not back in 2000, last week, literally last week. So June of 2026. In the bear market that followed the 2000 top, the NASDAQ composite lost almost 80%. I mean, we forget that markets can go down because they just seem to go up and up and up, and it's buy the F and dip, buy the F and dip. And that has worked. But got to remember that sometimes it doesn't work, does it? So here is what they're calling the extraordinary divergence in performance in the last 7 trading days. So here you go, June 15th to June 25th, and our starting point is a hundo, and you're up 0.5%, down 5% here. Now, I think today it's actually switched, it's reversed. So I would be curious to see how that impacts the indicator. Let's keep going. Not all past divergences triggered bear markets immediately, but 67% of the time since 1971, stocks were in bear market in 3 months whenever there was a Dow Nasdaq divergence as large as what we saw last week. We'll have to see if it continues. By the way, before we go any further, let's look at what, because the divergence has shrunk today, if I'm not mistaken. So we've got, let's go to the United States. Yeah, so we're at, call it, 0.5, we're at 2%. So now we're at what would that be? We're not at 5.5, obviously. We're at 4% as far as the spread. We'll have to see what happens throughout the week. I mean, we got non-farm, right? We've got ADP, we've got labor market. So if that comes out weak, although, that could catch a bid in the NASDAQ because maybe lower interest rates. But anyway, let's go back to this indicator. I'm really fascinated by this. I've never heard of it before. Never heard of it prior to this morning. So that's a significant increase over what we would expect if wide divergences occurred randomly. Some current markets have occurred just 24% of the time since 1971. Hey guys, if you're watching this video right now, you probably know the stock market, the housing market, pretty much every market is in a massive bubble right now. The Fed is totally out of control, and the debts are exploding. You know this doesn't end well. The question is, what do you do? Well, fortunately, I've got the answer. Now, let me be clear. If you're the average retail investor who's watching CNBC and trusting the system, this definitely is not for you. But if you've been sensing there's something wrong and you're looking for clarity for all of the chaos, then Rebel Capitalist Pro is your unfair advantage. What is Rebel Capitalist Pro? It's the private investment community that I have with my good friends Chris McIntosh, Brent Johnson, Patrick Sresnan, and Jason Harper. It includes private member-only live stream Q&As that gives you direct access to the pros I just mentioned. Also, proprietary research from Lynn Alden and Chris McIntosh, model portfolios, exclusive whiteboard videos, and best of all, the Rebel Capitalist Pro community. Rebel Capitalist Pro is basically the cheat code you need to not only protect your wealth, but to build wealth and thrive in this crazy world of asset bubbles, out of control central banks, and big government. So stop worrying about this stuff. Stop losing sleep and start investing with confidence. For more information, go to rcp.georgegammon.com/pro. That's rcp.georgegammon.com/pro. Now, why do they sit here? But 67% of the time, since 1971, stocks were in a bear market for 3 months. We got that. Whenever there was a Dow Nasdaq divergence as large as the current one, that's a significant increase over what we would expect if wide divergences occurred randomly. Oh, okay, got it. These statistics suggest some analysts may be kidding themselves. Okay, we know that. That would not be a surprise. Let's go over to zero hedge because I think this plays into exactly what we're talking about with that indicator. Bursting of the AI bubble. Collapse of circular deals are among top risks in the global financial system from the BIS, Bank of International Settlements. And let's remember what has happened to the price of SpaceX. Woo! Straight to the moon, right? Unintended. And then all the way down to I think we're trading the 150s, and we got up to, what was it, 220 after the IPO. So you've seen a huge sell-off in SpaceX, which could be a proxy for risk appetite, for all this capital chasing higher and higher and higher returns, hysteria, mania, to the point where we've seen OpenAI all the old time out on the IPO and say, yeah, we were going to do it, but now I don't think so. Probably going to postpone that at least until 2027, probably a wise move. The reason they're doing that is because it looks like liquidity could be drying up. It looks like risk appetite could be decreasing, not increasing. And the amount of capital that's out there to go into these trillion-dollar unicorns that are building orbital data centers, that is the capital for that is going down, not up. And if you have capital inflows turning into capital outflows, by definition, stock prices go down. So here's some of their little charts, just kind of quantifying this narrative that they're pushing. That basically they're really worried about the valuations in the stock market. No surprise there, but it's led by AI. And the reason why I think this goes back to what we're saying with the indicator is a lot of the AI stocks going to be in the NASDAQ. It's going to be tech. And so if you have seen the tech bubble burst, if we've seen a high, which would be indicated by SpaceX, then you would expect that divergence possibly to continue with the NASDAQ and the Dow, and which I would assume that would increase the odds of an overall bear market. Let's keep going to the zero hedge article here. Disappointment in returns could trigger sudden pullback in financing and turn the capex boom into a protracted investment bust with potential knock-on effects of financial conditions. Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. It really what it boils down to the labor market, which I think it's so interesting that we have ADP with non-farm coming out this week. Because if you have this divergence and if you see the unemployment rate start to go up, if you start to see the labor market continuing to weaken, then I think you go from a 67% chance, maybe 80%. So I mean, it's all about timing, right? But they kind of pegged the timing in that market watch article. They said that it's imminent, and that means within the next 3 months. Within the next 3 months. Now, to be fair, the market could go up by 20% in the next 2 months and then come down by 20%, meaning a bear market. And the third month, and we could be flat based on where we are today. It's all about probabilities. I think we sound this channel all the time. There are no certainties. There are only probabilities. A major equity market correction could have large macroeconomic consequences. Or I would say larger, larger macroeconomic consequences in the past. I totally agree. Because the economy is propped up by asset prices. So if you have those asset prices go down, it'd be very difficult for the United States. If they go down for an extended period of time, if they go down for 2 weeks, but if they go down for, say, 6 months, a year, that's going to be difficult for the United States, in my view, to avoid a recession, because so much that aggregate demand is actually propping up the economy. And let's not forget, that's from the consumer side, but also the demand, aggregate demand, propping up GDP is coming from AI capex spend. So if you go into a bear market with NASDAQ, that capex spend for AI is probably going to decrease substantially. So in the past quarters, that's been a net tailwind for GDP. That can turn into a net headwind, a net headwind for the AI capex spend, right? Which would really put further downward pressure on the Nasdaq and possibly bring down the S&P 500 as well in the process. I'd be curious to know what the S&P 500 did during the dot-com bust. Actually, I don't want to go too far off on a tangent. Very curious. We'll go back to that zero hedge article in a moment. I get, yeah. Okay. So, I mean, this chart isn't very precise, but let's just say we're at 1500 and you bottom out at, I mean, yeah, you're down, what, 45%. So, I mean, and and the problem here is it happened, we're at 2000, you know, all the way to 2000, that's 2 years, man. I mean, that might be more than 2 years. If you had the S&P 500 right down, go down by 40 or 45%, and it just and it just kept going lower and lower and lower and lower like this over the next 2 years, I think the probability the U.S. avoids a recession is as close to zero as you can get. Because again, that's going to have a massive impact on consumer spending. And it's going to have a massive impact on the other component that's been propping up the economy. Like we said, the AI capex spending. Huh. I did not know that the S&P 500 went down by that much. I mean, think about that. Because we just read that the NASDAQ during the dot-com bust went down by 80%. We're not saying that happens again, but just for a moment, let's just step back and think about what the U.S. economy looks like in a world where the S&P goes down by 45% and the NASDAQ goes down by 80%. Back during the dot-com, that was like a garden variety kind of balance sheet recession. But that's back then, the economy was nowhere near as dependent on those asset prices as it is now, at least in my view. So I completely agree that major market correction, as long as it's sustained, you know, it's like a cerveza sickness where you're just going like this, then maybe not so much. But if you get that dot-com deal, wow, look out. And then what would exacerbate that is that's likely going to increase the unemployment rate, and you possibly have the net inflows from passive turn into net outflows. Where's your bid? Yeah, that's the no bueno zone right there. And what's really wild is that indicator is talking about almost a 70% chance in the next 3 months. In the next 3 months. I mean, think about that in terms of what's happening to private credit as well. Boy, that could be a perfect storm. See, repricing of risk this time, whether triggered by high interest rates or AI bust, that's potential to be disruptive. Yeah. Now, I mean, here's the circular economy that they're referring to, the BIS referenced, I believe, in their paper. And what does this circular economy depend on? It depends on risk being very, very low, and like a Ponzi scheme, it depends on more and more capital going in. If the spigots get turned off, then all of this unwinds, and wow, that gets ugly. Because, you know, Amazon's not a good example. CoreWeave, their income is coming from OpenAI, and OpenAI's income is coming from CoreWeave. And, you know, I was reading the other day that like 80% of NVIDIA's revenue comes from like 8 people, like 8 entities, right? And those entities are getting the majority of their money from NVIDIA. It's like you turn off the spigot here, and the house of cards just completely collapses. That's not to say that AI isn't the future. It absolutely is. But it doesn't mean that you can't have a bump in the road. Just like we saw during the dot-com and the internet. It was the internet the future? Absolutely it was. The NASDAQ still went down by 80%. Yeah, the terms of such deals are typically poorly disclosed. The risks of the same asset being pledged multiple times. Where have we seen that before? Oh, that's right. Yeah, what happened in 2008? Oh, yeah. what's happening with private credit. You know, private credit, this doesn't get enough airplay in my view. It's the exact same nonsense. It's very similar to the circular economy, where you have a private credit fund, but this private credit fund down here is investing in this private credit fund, and this private credit fund is investing in that private credit fund. So it's not all circular. It's not as circular as the AI economy, but it still has components of that, for sure. So there you go. We're going to have to pay attention to that. I'd like to actually explore that indicator further. Maybe I'll put that into AI and see if it has a higher predictive probability over like a 14-day span than just looking at that 7-day span and the 5.5% difference between the Dow and the NASDAQ. So big week this week, guys. Huge week with what's happening and what we're going to see with the data in the non-farm payrolls with ADP and more broadly within the labor market. This could be huge as far as, you know, whether or not we're going to see that big bear market that this indicator is predicting in the next 3 months. On that bombshell, guys, enjoy the rest of your afternoon. As always, make sure you're standing up for freedom, liberty, free market capitalism. See you in the next video.
Sleeping on the floor, now my jewelry box froze. Fuck a pole, fuck a stove, counted millions in a cold. Bad bitch, booty swole, got her on bankroll, can't fold, just a no, headshot, case closed.
What is up, guys? It's Andy Priscilla, and this is the show for the realists. Say goodbye to the lies, the fakeness, and delusions of modern society. And welcome to Motherfucking Reality, guys. Today we have Andy and DJ.
Cruise the motherfucking internet.
That's what we're going to do. If this is your first time listening, welcome. We have shows within the show. Okay, when you listen, you're going to hear Q&AF on Mondays. That's where you submit questions and we give you the answers. Sometimes you're going to hear CTI a couple times a week usually. That's Cruise the Internet. So we're out of here now. Then we have Real Talk, just 5-20 minutes. We give you some real talk. And then we have 75 Hard Verses. That's where people who completed the 75 Hard program come on the show, talk about how they were before, how they are now, and how they use the 75 Hard program to become the best version of themselves. If you're unfamiliar with 75 Hard, it's the initial phase of the Live Hard program, which is available in its entirety for free at episode 208. It is the world's most popular mental transformation program ever. There's also a book. The book is at andyfrisella.com. It's called The Book on Mental Toughness. You can go there and buy it. We are the largest show in the world that does not run ads. We ask very simply that if you enjoy the show, share it. So don't be a hoe.
Share the show.
So
it's good, gang.
Nothing, man.
It's cracking like it good.
Your shirt, apparently.
Oh, man.
What is that?
What do you mean?
You golfing?
I mean, you know,
Throw a little color out there?
yeah, scratch a little bit.
It's fine, man.
All right.
Yeah.
God damn it. All right.
Yeah.
No, what's going on, man?
Nothing, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great day. It's a great day to be alive.
Yep.
Speaking about being alive, dude, you know,
Better than being unalive.
that's one. Yeah, that is. Well, I mean, funny enough, dude, I was, I was putting the show together and I saw this thing. I'm like, dude, you know, it actually, it's incredible that you're here with us today, bro. You know, because this thing that came up, growing up for you must have been pretty hard. There were these. I found this article. These are toys that actually kill people.
Oh yeah.
From your time.
Yeah.
And it's incredible that you're still here with us.
I tell you, you don't know what it's like, man. You know what it's like coming from those toys.
Bro, but like in all seriousness, bro, this shit's actually kind of crazy. Were you a big toy guy growing up? I mean,
I like
Hot
toys.
Wheels and
I
shit.
still like toys.
That's true. It's more cost a little bit more.
Cost a little bit more. Yeah.
No, dude, there's these toys apparently that like actually killed fucking kids. And like I wanted to pull them up because I wanted to see if you like actually had any of these and you survived.
The one toy that I remember
For sure.
that was banned when we were kids was not really a toy, it was a game, and it was lawn darts.
Okay.
So people throw these gigantic fucking
It's there.
So there's these like foot long darts that you put a little ring in the ground and then you like throw them, and people stand on the other end like you would with cornhole.
Horseshoe or something.
Yeah, and then it's like they go up in the air and they come down and hit people in the head and kill them.
Bro,
Yeah, that's a real thing.
whose idea?
I don't know,
Fuck.
but it was a real thing. I mean, we had that game.
3 deaths.
Yeah.
6,000 plus severe injuries with this.
Oh, I believe it.
They've been banned in the U.S. and Canada. There was this other one. It was a CSI fingerprint kit. It let kids play detective and dust for fingerprints, but the dusting powder was verified to contain 7% tremolite asbestos. This is one of the most deadly forms of asbestos. So that, like this,
Yeah, just give it to kids.
just
man.
give it to them.
Yeah,
Just fucking give it to them.
fucking kids.
Yeah, apparently this little mermaid fairy doll thing was a spring-loaded weapon.
Pulled a cord in the foam fairy. The foam fairy flew into the air like a helicopter. The launcher was a spring-loaded weapon. Fairies flew erratically at high speeds, hitting children in the face. It's a probe. And you wonder why America got soft.
That's what it is.
Okay, over there in the Middle East, they're running around with AKs. We're over here banning fucking foam fairies.
That's right.
All right?
That's right. I say bring it back.
Yeah, bring back the foam fairy. Toughen everybody up.
Yeah, bro, there was a science kit that let kids become nuclear physicists. It came with 4 jars of real uranium-238. It was literally radioactive. The manual claimed it was safe, but it exposed children to radiation. What the fuck?
No, I've never seen the issue. It's hard to really see it. I was driving, but it looks like you turn the car on, contactor clicks, screen turns on, and then it shuts off. Is it a new car or an old car? Lost you. Yeah, I lost you there. So is it a new car or an old car? So it's engaged. My guess, it's a battery issue where it might be similar to that other issue where, remember the other ones where you have to turn them on like 3 or 4 times before they finally turn on? I think it's the same thing. I'm assuming you're not at the dealer or the dealer's texting you that video. Yeah, I would tell him to connect to the battery with the app and see if there's an update for it that might fix it. Oh, it's a Gen 3? Yeah, I wouldn't know. But, that's a tough one. Still could maybe be a battery issue. It seems kind of weird that the car turns on, and I would then connect to the battery, see if there's any faults with the battery app anyways. Maybe there's a problem internally on the battery. It's a tough one. It's all I've got right now. But no, I've never seen it. Cool. All right. Heading back home. Just made a quick run down to South Carolina and then driving back right now. Be back in about an hour. Yeah. Cool. All right. Got it. See ya.
Yeah, this is you back then.
Yeah, I mean, we're making nuclear weapons apparently at home.
Z, you interested in this game?
This is another thing they still have in the Middle East, especially in Israel apparently.
That's right. You know,
We blame it, dude.
Yeah.
It's
Allegedly.
Yeah, we don't know if they have.
It's not, it's not regulated.
Oh fuck, dude. And then then this, dude. I actually had this.
What's that? I've never seen that.
Yeah, the magnets. But apparently kids would swallow them,
Yeah, I believe that.
and then they would bind together inside their intestines.
Oh, nice.
With the other balls. Yeah. Crazy shit, dude.
Yeah,
Crazy shit.
definitely have some crazy shit there.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, it's just so crazy. And like now, dude, we talk about culture on the show.
Lauren. Hold on. My headset on. Didn't have a little earpieces in. I heard equipment chair, but I didn't say hear who it was. Yeah, probably. I'm trying to remember who exactly I told what, so I don't remember what it was. What was this one about? What's wrong with the car? Is it an AC vehicle, DC vehicle, payloader, expediter, stock chaser, payloader? What did I tell him? Okay. So you need the file, assuming you've got the software on your laptop and the USB adapter, and you just need the file again. Best you can do is text me your email address because I'm driving, and I won't be able to get that to you for about an hour and a half until I get to my destination. I can't email that file while I'm driving at 3 minutes. I can find his ticket. So I don't think I closed it. I do remember that vaguely. I remember talking to Alex. Yeah, I think it was you guys had put a controller in it, and they probably shipped it with the wrong one. So I sent him the correct one, and I think his throttle direction was backwards. Wait. Well, the software is the software that has to be installed on the laptop. So I'm assuming you've got a laptop that has PC Pack, and you've got the US, well, it's sometimes called controller customization utility. And then you've got the adapter that says, it's a black adapter that says PC Pack and a blue sticker. Do you have that? As long as you got that, then we can probably solve it. The other piece that's not really software, it's just a file that you're loading on the controller. And you could call it software, but it's not something you install, it's just a file you copy over. Yeah, give me about an hour and a half. I can email you back with it, and then I'll be able to call you then too, because I'll be back at my house. All right, talk to you in a bit. Yeah, just text me your email address. All right, cool.
It's crazy to see now. You know, like I remember playing with toys and shit growing up. Now, bro, kids watch other kids play with toys.
Yeah.
On the phones.
Yeah.
Like on you, like bro,
Yeah.
I
It's
cannot.
voyeuristic society.
Fuck.
It's super weird.
It's
But
so
bro, some of these kid influencers are making like $20 million a year and shit.
big bank,
Yeah.
big bank. Dude.
Yeah.
Like I can't, like I keep my kids from doing that shit because like to me it's just weird. Like,
Yeah.
why don't you just go play?
$20 million a year wouldn't be weird though.
I mean, listen, I'm not
Saying like that ain't weird.
but like, dude, I don't. It's so strange.
You know, I don't get it. I still don't get it.
I think there's something like it's important for kids to drink water out of the water hose.
Yeah.
In the fucking heat of summer.
Yeah.
You know
Play
what
with
I'm saying?
uranium.
Yeah, like play,
Yeah.
like bro, go outside.
Yeah.
Go-
Build a bomb.
That's what.
Yeah. Throw weapons at each
Yeah,
other.
get some tannerite, dude.
Yeah,
You know
bro.
what I'm saying? Like,
Get yourself some lawn darts.
you'll survive.
Yeah.
Right? Andy's here.
Bro, when we were kids, we had BB gun wars.
Oh, we had fireworks.
Yeah. Oh yeah, fireworks wars a real thing. But we would shoot each other with BB guns, bro.
It's crazy.
Yeah, we'd go through the woods. We'd have teams, and we'd have BB gun wars. You wear fucking sunglasses, and that was it.
That was your protection.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, man. All the time.
What else did we do, bro? When somebody threw like an old mattress out that was like our trampoline because we didn't have like trampolines and
Yeah.
shit, so we just played on other people's dirty
Yeah,
mattresses.
You had to roll a dead body off.
It
of
actually sounds pretty
Yeah.
disgusting at this point, but
Yeah.
yeah, dude, you know, fuck.
Yeah, man.
You
Yeah,
know,
wrestling.
it.
Yeah.
Fuck it, kill a man.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, a lot of my friends
They took that shit
took
literally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shit, man. No wonder why the crime statistics are out of hand.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Dude. Oh fuck, man.
Yeah, man.
Just
It is.
crazy times.
It is weird, dude. What was your favorite game growing up?
Like favorite game to play?
Yeah, not video game, like game.
No.
For the
Oh,
people who didn't hear what my dad said, he said hide and seek with his dad.
That was pretty good. Still ain't proud. Oh man. No, for real though. What was it?
Oh,
Not like baseball or anything.
Yeah.
You know, like what was it? Like a game.
yeah, I mean, Kill a Man was definitely there.
No, I'm talking about like a game. Like a game.
Like a game system?
No, like Hungry Hungry Hippo, bro.
Yeah, no,
I like that game. Oh, that's cool.
we didn't have that one. Oh, we had the what was it? Robot with the Rock'em Sock'em.
Oh, that was a good one.
I had one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a decent.
Yeah.
That was decent. What else was there? Fuck.
My mom had to take Zelda away from us because I would get so pissed off that Sal and I would get fights over it. Yeah. And by fights, it would be me beating the shit out of Sal because I was losing at Zelda. And he's laughing at me.
Yeah, that was the other thing too, because like my childhood, like that's when all the consoles and shit started coming out. You know what I'm saying? It's like Nintendo 64.
Yeah.
You know, I had one of those.
GoldenEye was another game we got a lot of fights about.
GoldenEye. Is that the 007 one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was like one of the first person shooters.
Yeah.
Shit got intense, bro.
Oh yeah.
You're looking at my screen. You're cheating.
Yeah, bro. It's crazy, man. It's so crazy.
Yes, it's like all the screens are on the same screen. So yeah, of course I'm looking at your screen, bro.
Yeah, man. It's good times, dude. You know, kids gotta get back to that shit today, man. That's what we need. We need a little bit more of that. But yeah, man, let's do some cruising. All right, some stuff to cover, some stuff to talk about. Guys, remember, if you would like to see any of these headlines, articles, pictures, links, videos, go to andyfrisella.com. You guys can check them out there. Hit subscribe too, right? Nice little call to action. We haven't had that in a while. Subscribe to the channel, motherfucker. Yeah. Let's get it. Headline one. Got to do an update, but you know, to be honest, dude, I'm kind of exhausted about the Middle East conflict that's happening. You know, it's exhausting. And we got shit here we got to talk about. You know, but it's not looking too good. Not looking too good. Trump says U.S. and Iran to hold fresh talks after strikes strain ceasefire. The U.S. president says a meeting is set for tomorrow.
By strike strain the ceasefire, meaning that they're just ignoring everything that you're saying.
That's right.
Yeah. So
That's right.
basically, you keep saying, Donald Trump keeps saying that they won the war, everything's tomorrow. It's been going on for however long,
Right.
and they just continue to do whatever they want.
Mm-hmm.
You notice you don't see anybody on their side coming out and be like, "Oh yeah, we had an agreement."
That's right. That's right. Well, not only that, this comes out, but less than an hour ago, Iran just came out and said that there's no negotiation meetings are scheduled with the United States at any level in the coming days. So it's like, dude, I don't really know what to make of it.
Well, I mean, I think it's very clear. I think we're being told one thing.
Yeah.
That isn't true. I mean, when we have our administration coming here saying, "Oh, everything's done, everything's great, we did this, blah, 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 blah," and then they won't even meet with JD Vance at the fucking meeting. Okay. And then every time Trump comes out and says, "Oh, it's over," and then the next minute, Israel and fucking Iran are shooting shit at each other. I mean, why the fuck are we even involved? Just let them fucking go at it. Who gives a fuck? Let's worry about ourselves. Let's worry about our people. Let's worry about what's going on here. That's what Americans want. No, this isn't popular. Nobody wants us to be there. Nobody's passionately rooting for us to be over in the Middle East unless they have some sort of financial incentive to fucking root for it. That's the truth. Most Americans are struggling. They don't want to hear that we're spending any sort of dollars over there for any fucking reason. And I don't think that's really hard to understand. And if they don't change it, and it's probably too late, they're going to get slaughtered in their next midterm election. I mean, that's it. I mean, people are tired of all. Like when you say, "Oh, I'm a little tired of it." No, everybody's tired. Everybody's tired. It's not popular. It's political bullshit. It's not what they're supposed to be doing. They're supposed to be representing the American people. And if they are representing the American people, they are not explaining it to where the American person could understand it. Okay, because when I go to Wally's, I still see dudes coming in there paying for quarters for their fucking sandwich. I don't think they give a fuck about what's going on in the Middle East, right? Like, let's be real, dude. Nobody wants this. Nobody cares about it, and it's starting to really piss people the fuck off.
Yeah. Well, to your point, speaking about the elections that are coming up, this wasn't the first hail that has come through at the start of this week. Bringing it back to our own turf, the Supreme Court, they just ruled federal law does not require mail-in ballots to be received election day. Which, this is a big deal. This is a big deal.
Yeah, it opens up to allow them to fudge the elections.
100%.
Every fucking time.
Because this is a sure method to do it. Right?
And that's Trump's nomination, by the way.
That's right. That's right. And it's a big blow. It's a big blow. So yeah, the U.S. Supreme Court on Monday ruled 5-4 that federal law does not require mail-in ballots to be received by election day. The lawsuit challenging the mail ballots was filed by the Republican National Committee and the Libertarian Party of Mississippi. Conservative Justice Amy Coney Barrett wrote the majority opinion and said state laws allowing mail-in ballots to be counted after Election Day do not conflict with federal law. Now, Chief Justice Roberts joined Amy Coney Barrett and sided with the liberal justices. Quote, Mississippi law permits the counting of absentee ballots postmarked by Election Day, but received up to 5 days later. We must decide whether the federal Election Day statutes preempt Missouri's law. They do not, Amy Coney Barrett wrote. The Election Day statutes say nothing about ballot receipt, and we cannot add to the words Congress chose, Barrett wrote in the majority opinion. Due dates for absentee ballots have shifted over time. During the Civil War, states that allowed absentee voting imposed an election day deadline for ballot receipt, Barrett said. And this for sure is one of the sure methods that they use countless of times, right? You got the election's over, and then a week later, they're still processing mail-in ballots from all these people. And it's been exposed multiple times. The fact that a lot of these people on these mail-in ballots are dead, deceased in many cases, right? And so it's one of those things, and I know the other piece on this that we still have not seen any movement is the SAVE Act, right? Which is supposed to be about all the election security and shit like that, voter ID or having to have an ID to vote, things like that. We still have not seen any movement on it, dude. And you got midterms coming up in just a few short, very, very short months. And so, with all of this, give me a prediction. What do you foresee happening in midterm?
Well, I mean, this is something that Trump ran on, was getting the elections cleaned up. He hasn't done that. He spent most of the time in office dodging areas that he ran on, such as, mass deportations. The fundamental reality is that when you don't uphold the promises that you make to the American people for which they vote on, you can't expect them to continue to vote that way. And I don't know what's going to happen in the midterms. I can't give a prediction because I think people are so fearful, rightfully so, of the communist direction of the left that they will continue to vote. I don't think anybody who's voting for Trump is voting for the other side.
Right.
I can't say what's going to happen or what's not going to happen, but the things that he ran on are not being done at a rapid enough pace for people to be enthusiastic about the administration currently, and that's going to cause major problems, and it could cause problems with voter turnout. I think people have gotten to the point where they don't even believe that elections are real. There's a segment of people who believe that our elections are completely rigged and manipulated, and those people are not going to be incentivized or enthusiastic about even showing up. And until you correct that perception, whether it's true or untrue, you can't expect people to want to participate in the system that is currently existing. So for them to have the turnout that I think they need, I think it's going to be, I think it's almost past time, but I mean, you're going to have to follow through on some of these things that you promised whenever you came into office. Now, there's people who will make the argument that there's a lot of things that Trump is doing geopolitically that have put us in a position of strength. Well, if you have that viewpoint, I think we can all agree they're doing a terrible job explaining that to the American people, right? Like, if there really is a good reason that we are involved in this Iran war, other than Israel is forcing us to be involved, which is what most people believe at this point in time on both sides of the aisle, then that reason has not been communicated effectively in a way where people understand it. And I personally believe that we're being forced to be involved. I know that's what you believe. I know that's what most of our listeners believe. And I know that's what most people believe based upon the conversation that's happening online. Now, what's the conversation that's not happening online? I don't know, because I'm not having those conversations. So there's a large number of people that don't live on Instagram and Twitter and these social media platforms that, you know, traditionally say, okay, well, Israel is part of they're part of us and they're our greatest ally, that are going to vote that way no matter what. I think that's bullshit. I think most people think that's bullshit. I think most people know it's bullshit. And I think that there's been a lot of, you know, division amongst the quote unquote common sense Americans, like happens every single time. I think it's just been done in a completely different way. You know, you look at people who voted for Trump and now they fall into like two camps, right? You have the hardcore MAGA camp, which Trump believes is most people, which just isn't. Most of the people who I talk to that have voted for Trump are like, what the fuck? That's their viewpoint. And they feel like he hasn't followed through on the things that he promised. You know, I think people wanted to see, and this is statistically true, you know, 80% roughly of the population wanted to see mass deportations. And when they wanted to see it, they wanted to see people be rounded up and sent home. They're not seeing it. And when they did start to see it, what happened? Oh, two agitators that were paid to be involved got smoked. And then everybody found, you know, this sympathy for them and said, oh, this is too rough. You can't round up fucking 20 million people without it being rough. Like, that's what they're not going to go willingly back to the shithole they came from. Okay. And we talked about this for years and years and years. I remember saying very clearly on the show, way before Trump, years before Trump came back in office, that the mass deportations were going to cause a problem because they weren't going to be palatable for people to watch happen. Did I not say that exactly that way a number of times? And is that not exactly what's happened? And the mistake that this administration has made is that they've allowed the whining and crying of a few people to cause them to back up, which has caused them to lose support of their base. So we have the people who are, I believe, Donald Trump no matter what. And I think Trump is surrounded by those people, so he believes that that's the majority, because the truth is, we believe what we're surrounded by. And just like a lot of people online are surrounded in echo chambers, he is also in an echo chamber. I believe there's a second group of people, which is America First, which is where I stand, which is we don't belong in any fucking conflicts, and every single dollar of taxpayer money should be used to improve this country and take care of these people and remove the people that shouldn't be here and restore greatness to this country and take care of our citizens who pay the taxes, not for the reason of supporting the rest of the world, but for the reason of making this country great, which is supposed to be the goal. Those America First people are totally disenfranchised with Trump. Okay, now will those people go out and vote again for the same people? I don't know. I don't think so, dude. I think people are like really tired of the political class in general. So I see a lot of those people just not showing up. I think there's a big group of Democrats that are disenfranchised that believe like they're kind of politically homeless. They don't agree with anything that Trump's about, but they also recognize that the left has lost its fucking mind and they're going the way of communism, like what's happening up in New York right now, where you have people being elected that literally talk about wiping their asses with American flags. That's a direct quote. Okay. They recognize that those people are kind of taking over and they're disenfranchised. And then you have the fucking far left, and that's become communist. And I think collectively as Americans, it's a good idea for everybody to gather around and understand that this is how communism comes to power. And our biggest threat here right now is a communist takeover of this country by the demoralization of the regular American person into not participating. Now, if you say that to people, they will that are disenfranchised, they'll say, well, how do you know votes even count? We don't, and that's the problem that the administration has. They have created a perception where people don't know if the elections are safe and secure, which makes them feel like their voice is not being heard, which causes them to not want to participate because they don't feel like any of these people represent them. In my opinion, what needs to happen is a grassroots movement of America First, where people get involved. When I say grassroots, I don't mean at the presidential level, I mean at the community level. You know, you guys out there that believe that we should have better people, you have to realize that you are those better people and you have to get involved. And until America's complacency and this idea that it's someone else's problem leaves their mind and is replaced with an idea of, well, this is my problem, I need to do something, then nothing's going to change. Okay, so I think we're in a really tough spot, and I don't know what's going to happen, but I know this, historically speaking, this is how communism installs itself into a government, and it's, you know, that should scare everyone.
Well, you know, the other piece of this too that I always like, I'm battling, trying to understand or think of a better way to do it, right? But not only do you have the people that, you know, don't believe in the actual security of our elections, but I feel like there's another class of people who we vote for these people to quote unquote represent us and what we want and our values, but then they go to these offices and vote completely different from the people's wants and wishes.
Yeah, they lie right to your face,
right?
But that's happening on both sides.
On both sides.
Yeah.
On both sides, right? And so, like, you know, like there's another level of like disenfranchisement that's happening there that I think a lot of people also fall into, right? And so, like, what would be a better fix? Like, do we really need politicians at all, or can we just, hey, you know what, this is the issue, let's vote on it, we'll tally up all the fucking votes, what's the yes or no? Like, I'm saying, dude, like, how, like,
ultimately, we have to recognize what the source of the problem is. The source of the problem is that everybody believes that someone else is responsible for solving the problem. That's the source of the problem. It's the bystander effect. All right? We walk by, and as small as this example may be, it's just an example of why we're here. We walk by a piece of trash on the ground. Well, that's not our trash. Well, this is your community. Shouldn't you pick up the trash? Okay? We walk by a shopping cart out in the middle of the parking lot. That's not my cart. Well, it is your parking lot that you use all the time. Don't you want to keep it nice? And people don't realize that these standards that have faded away are actually the standards that are built upon that create a great country. You cannot have a great country without a great culture, and you cannot have a great culture when the individuals that make up the culture have abdicated their responsibility onto other people to handle problems that they can very clearly handle themselves. And so that's the ultimate problem that we have here in this country. We have a lot of people that complain about the way the country is, but they refuse to look at themselves and realize that they are the country. Okay? So until people understand that, and I think it is getting back that way, but until people truly understand that it is the citizens' responsibility to be involved and participate in the formation of the political system of this country, then we don't have a shot. And that starts with personal standards. That's why when we talk about personal excellence being the ultimate rebellion, that is not a solution. That is literally the only solution, because you can't fix it with another election. You can't fix it with a different person. You can't fix it with a new law. If laws fix crime, there would be no fucking crime. Okay? So when we think about like what this ultimately comes down to, it's the erosion of culture over the course of time to where everybody looks at everything and says, well, that's not my responsibility. Okay? And instead of like handling things that happen, they just say, well, someone else will handle it. And that not only, you know, fucks our entire country, but it fucks up your life. That's why your life sucks. You think that every single thing is someone else's fault, when it actually is your fucking fault. Okay? You control what you eat, you control how you move, you control how you train, you control what you read, you control who you associate with, you control the actions you take, and all of those things create your life. And if you're not taking responsibility for those things, then how can you take responsibility for things that are bigger than that? So we have a problem of the American citizen not understanding that they literally are the foundation of this country as individuals. And the way that you get other people to do things is by doing them first. All right? When you go to Japan, you have a high trust culture. People don't steal. People don't fucking litter. They don't do these things. And the reason that that is because the people who are born into that culture, that's the way that things always are. All right? So they walk in, they look around, they say, well, this is the way it is here, and they behave accordingly. For that to change takes individuals starting and then holding those standards to where another person joins in, and another person joins in, and another person joins in. And then it creates a contagious behavior where that becomes the standard culturally. And then when we have a culture of accountability for ourselves, we start to hold other things to that standard. We start to get involved in things that represent, what's going on in our community. And everybody thinks they can just vote for a president can come in and fix things, or that they can have a revolution and let's go burn the White House down and we'll just take over. Okay, then what? Tomorrow, there's still going to be people that don't give a fuck about what's going on. Tomorrow, there's still going to be criminals. Tomorrow, there's still going to be litter. Tomorrow, there's still going to be all these things that create the society that people aren't happy with. So when we think about what the answer actually is, it actually comes down to the individual taking responsibility and saying, no, I'm an American. This is what I stand for. I'm not going to tolerate less for myself. And when other people notice you not tolerating less for yourselves, they won't tolerate less from themselves, and they will join in. And that starts in your household, and then it expands from your household to your neighbor, and then it goes from your neighbor to your community, and then it goes from your community to your city, and then it goes from your city to your state. So like, this problem can be fixed very quickly, but when people hear what I just said, they say, well, that's impossible. That's impossible. It's not impossible. It's not impossible at all. In fact, if you took every single person in the country right now and we just had a conference call and everybody was on it, we say, hey guys, our country, we need to let's just start with something simple. How about this? We're all going to agree to not fucking litter. We're all going to agree that we're going to pick up the trash that we see. We're all going to agree that if it's someone else's property, we're not going to fucking take it. And then we allow the laws to do their job enforcing that, but then the citizens create that culture. Now that's fixed. Like, dude, if 300 million fucking people, it doesn't even take 300 million. If you get 50 million people to decide, hey, I'm going to do that, the culture gets fixed almost immediately. And then, it flows down into what you're willing to tolerate from these people. And then it flows down into other things, such as, like, if you're not consuming all of their slop, you're not fat. And if you're not fat, then you don't require the medicine. And if you don't require the medicine, it breaks their economic stronghold on the system. So like, and that goes for data, and that goes for everything. So like, you have to understand that their whole goal is to make things quick, easy, comfortable, to make everybody complacent, so that they can do whatever they want. And that's the play they're running. But like, people have to understand that it starts with you. It starts with how you behave. It starts with how you take care of yourself. It starts with the standards you hold in the community that, your little community, which would be maybe just a roommate. Maybe it's just you. Maybe you live by yourself. Maybe if you don't think that if you live by yourself and you lose 100 pounds and all of a sudden you go from driving a fucking beat up, rusted out piece of shit to a nice Yukon or something, you don't think your neighbor's gonna say, hey, fucking DJ, what's gotten into you? Right? And that's going to inspire them. Like, this is how this works. But, we have to have people to go first. And we have a culture problem here. And that's the idea. I think we have a great culture. I think naturally America has an amazing culture. We see that with, the amount of people coming from Europe, and they're so excited about the way people are. We have this great life over here. But, the question is, how do we get rid of these people? Well, we have to get rid of those people by not.
Hello.
Hello. You just seeing if you made it there or not.
Yeah, well, I was already there when you called me. I'm on my way home.
Oh, you said you're at Bucky's.
Yeah, that's the halfway point. Yeah, I already went there, then stopped at the liquor store, got a cheap bottle of bourbon, and then hit the fireworks stand, spent $90. Be home in about 30 minutes.
Well, that way you can check on Beaks.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm almost there.
So $90, did you buy like one fountain?
No, I bought one fountain that also shoots flaming balls, and I bought another one that shoots balls up in the air, and then I bought a couple of packs of Roman candles, a small pack of M80 type M100s, and then a couple small packs of firecrackers. The big ones, I kind of wanted them, but I just didn't want to risk lighting anything up in the air. Hopefully the neighbor does it.
Yeah, with the how dry we are, probably don't want to do that. am thinking that giving all of the kids, 'cause I don't know if it goes for him, but being seen as the girl, I might give them some kind of
Just to knock him out a little bit. Cool.
yeah. Yeah, but the kid with his weight and everything, I don't too scared to give him anything, and he doesn't seem to be bothered by lightning and stuff.
Yeah, he's done okay. I mean, worst case scenario, they'll just go hide.
Yeah. And I have the bottom of the sink cleaned out with a towel in there, so they actually have a good hiding spot.
Cool. Right on.
Cool, so I billed, my goal was to bill for 180,000 this month, and I billed 250.
Cool. So did you get like fully caught up or sort of?
No, I still have more to do, but Jason's like, yeah, you can do the rest for next month. Because I'm like, if I do it all now, I might not be able to make next month's goal. And so he's like, yeah, that's fine.
Cool.
So, but getting there. I mean, and a lot of those invoices, like 6 of those invoices, the new girl did for me, so she helped quite a bit.
Very cool. Right on.
Yeah. But I had program jobs. When in the past, you had the program because you have the insurance company and you have the TPA, and then you have us. The TPA, everything goes through them. You got to click buttons and upload things and do things within a certain amount of time, otherwise you get penalized. And I had some new program jobs that came in, so they're like, they need to be uploaded. I'm like, the jobs are written, I can go ahead and upload them. So they're like, yeah, let's get it done. So I uploaded these jobs on Friday. And yesterday, they're like, they're showing they weren't uploaded. I'm like, no, and I went in there and I clicked all the buttons again. I'm like, it's showing that they're in there under review. They're like, well, did you go into CertPro University and upload them there? I'm like, what? They're like, yeah. I'm like, they're program jobs. They're like, yeah. I'm like, I uploaded them through Exact Analysis. And like, yeah, but for this company, you also have to upload it through our corporate stuff.
So I gotta do it fucking twice?
I'm like, well, no one told me that. Also, none of our Qantas jobs are in there. And so, yeah.
Lame.
And we had a little bit of training, a couple last week about, how to do stuff in there, but nothing in there ever said anything about program jobs having to upload it there first before we upload it to, yeah.
Right.
So I'm like, well, you can train me if you want, train the new girl, but someone should have told me that. They're like, well, you said you knew what you were doing. I'm like, yeah, you asked me if I had everything uploaded for contract protection. I did. No one asked me if I had everything uploaded for CertPro University because no one's ever trained me for it because most of our jobs aren't in there. That would be, maybe think about how you burn things before you come at me.
Yeah.
They're like, oh no, we're just trying to help. I'm like, no, I appreciate that. Just make sure I am trained to do something before you help.
Yeah, be clear on asking questions. You know how to do this? Yeah, I know how to do this, but this is for CertPro? No, nobody said that had to be done. Fuckers.
Yeah, if you go to any other company, you don't do that. You just do your program stuff. You write the job exact name, you click a certain upload button, and it automatically goes to the program. And it's synced to the program.
Yeah.
You did it that way at Carolina. I did that way when I was in Quebec. I did it that way when I was in California at Animal. That's just how those companies. Well, CertPro has their own little internal thing that the reason why they do it is they make percentages off our jobs. So they can track how much money they're going to make off of
Right.
what we're doing before it goes to. And so basically, I'm doing extra steps just to make sure they can get that information out of Dash. I don't know why it's stupid. So I'm annoyed.
Yeah.
But we go live with the new company tomorrow.
Cool.
And our paydays are going to change. So I have my normal payday on the 10th, but the new company is the Friday in between. So I get paid on the 10th, and then I get paid again a week later for 7 days, and then I go to the random week.
So a little bit of hiccup, but not too bad.
No. So I get paid on the 10th, and then the 17th, and again on the 31st. But the 17th is only going to be 1 week. It's not going to be a full shift.
Right.
So, but it's still online, by this month, always having, some maybe money, just different stuff. I think you do it.
Cool. Right on.
Well, all right.
All right. I'll text you once I'm home.
I have a meeting. Yeah, I have a meeting at 2. I have a meeting at 4, and possibly one more after that. So I'll be home sometime between 5 and 6. That's my guess.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. I'll talk to you later.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
get rid of those people by not allowing ourselves to believe that we play no role in the operation of this country. You know what I'm saying? Which allows evil people to take advantage of, you know, the system, and then they go in and, you know, then we got a whole other set of problems. They're getting paid, you know, they're getting paid money to push laws that aren't in the interest of the people. That should be illegal. Like, why the fuck are they allowed to take any money to pass a law? Like, that's bribery. Like, if a police officer pulled me over and I said, well, I'll give you $10,000 to not fucking give me a DUI right now, I'm going to jail for extra. Right? Like,
That's right.
but they can do it all day long. It's just called lobbying.
That's right.
Right? Like,
It's called service.
right. So, like, ultimately, dude, this comes down to people becoming the best version of themselves and what they believe in America, an American to actually be, and living that standard and doing so every single day of their life. And if everybody did that, things would change. But yeah.
Guys, jumping on the conversation. So down in the comments what you guys think, man.
You know, there's no politician that's going to come fix your life, dude. There's no president, no senator, no mayor, no
Everyone
official.
already happened.
What are they going to do? What are they going to do? They're going to come to your house and fucking feed you?
That's right.
They're going to come to your house and make you work out? They're going to come to your house and make you study to be better at what you do so you can make more money? And what the fuck do you think these people are going to do? They're not going to fix your life. You have to fix it first. And then by fixing it first, it inspires other people to fix theirs. And when they fix theirs, and the next guy fixes his, and the next guy fixes his, now we have a culture of high-level, excellent, non-dependent, non-complacent, driven, hungry, good people that are impossible to fucking control and make into like these plebes and blobs of goo that they can just dictate whatever laws they want to. I mean, that's what's going on. So it is in the people's hands. It always has been. But, you know, how many people do we see out here crying and bitching and moaning about America when they themselves don't represent any portion of what an American really should be? They're not taking advantage of the opportunities that they have. They're not taking care of their own lives, their own house, their own body, their own mentality. They are basically bitching that America isn't this wonderful place without being a part of the solution. And that's not going to fix anything.
Real man, guys, jumping on the conversation. So down in the comments, you guys think. That makes us keep cruising on too. Now, Andy, one thing you talked about, right? This is not an American problem. It's a global problem, right? It's a humanity problem.
Yeah.
And with that, and we've also stated too, man, culture is. We are starting to see glimpses of hope. I guess is a good way of describing it. Right? It's starting, right? Just slow, but it is starting. And I think globally, citizens are kind of getting over it. Fuck around and find out. Italian locals pummel African menace after he begins masturbating in front of young children and families at the beach in Manila. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy, dude. This video shows an African migrant exposing himself to women and young children on the beach in Italy has gone viral, bringing a spotlight on the horrors of mass migration in Europe. Horrifying footage shows the African migrant standing in front of families and young children while pleasuring himself on the beach. This is what mass migration and Amnesty advocates want to bring to a beach near you. Now, the only difference is, had this been, 2 years ago, maybe even 6 months ago, nobody would have did anything.
That's right.
They just would have recorded it.
They didn't want to be called racist.
That's right. That's right.
Not being wanted to be called racist has caused more fucking problems than literally almost anything in my lifetime. Being real.
Yeah.
Okay, like, we got to call it how the fuck it is. And if we're bringing in people from another culture that does not align with our culture, let's say they were all white. Let's say they all looked exactly like white people. Okay, but we brought them in from a third world country and they all came here and we said, hey, let's just say the third world country was called
Whiteistan.
Yeah, Whiteistan. Okay, like, so we imported all the Whiteistanis, and they come here and they look just like us, but they're white and they act just like these migrants from these third world shitholes come here. Everybody in the world would have no problem saying, dude, let's get rid of these fucking Whiteistanis. They're fucking everything up. Nobody, that would have happened fucking 10 years ago. But because everybody's afraid to say, oh, there's a guy with a different pigment of skin that comes from a third world culture that makes me racist towards other people that are also Americans, they might happen to have similar looking skin. We have to understand the nuance between the two. You can very clearly say, hey, these third world shithole motherfuckers can get the fuck out of here without being racist towards your neighbor who happens to be fucking tan.
Well, Andy, he's just having a hard time assimilating.
Apparently, he is having a hard time.
I don't give a fuck what country. I don't give a fuck what country you come from. That is not normal.
We're just going to call them Whitestanese from now on. All the fucking Whitestanese got to go.
Gotta go back them with their hot dog water. You know.
But there'd still be a segment of the population that would stay up. Yes.
Well, bro, that happens in this video.
Okay.
It happens. So to my point, though, like this 6 months ago, we were just watching the show. People over. And this fucking dude gets his ass beat by the group of men surrounding him.
Good.
All right, let's check this clip. You see the white standing there. They're not going for it. Here we go. Yeah.
Uh-oh, we got Waffle House happening.
It cannot be allowed.
Yeah, well.
There you go. Yep, and there's your savior. There's your savior.
Oh, yeah.
Are you okay? Are you okay? It's okay.
Yeah.
It's not fucking.
It's not a fucking
Get the
thing.
fuck out the way.
Yeah.
Let those men do their thing.
Yeah. They got off easy.
He just had
They
it.
should cut his fucking dick right off.
Bro, he had it out and he's wanking in front of fucking kids.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that guy got off easy.
Ass.
Yeah, I mean, look, dude, this comes down to the men in society being fucking men. Stop being fucking pussies. Handle what needs to be handled and fucking deal with it. These guys 2 years ago, and probably even now, it's probably going to be warped into, you know, some sort of racial attack. No, that guy's fucking attacking our culture. That guy's attacking our country. That guy's beating his meat in front of little fucking kids, bro. Now, you wouldn't tolerate that if it was a Whitestani.
That's right.
Right?
Dude, this kid's first time seeing a black dude.
It doesn't matter if he's black or white.
Yeah.
It's what he's doing.
I mean, there was a problem.
Okay, it's a cultural misalignment. Okay, when you import millions of males without women, the fuck do you think is going to happen? Okay, and what's funny is it's usually the women crying about being, you know, these people not being discriminated against. Motherfucker, they're in our country. They have their own country. There's a reason that their country, over the last fucking 12,000 years, looks like it does today, and the rest of the countries look like they do. That's truth. Okay? These people do not assimilate with European culture. They do not assimilate with civilized culture. And if they did, they'd have a civilized culture where the fuck they're from. So why the fuck are they here?
No need.
Exactly. Of course they want to be here. It's fucking way better.
Now, with all of this, right, we're seeing this change in the something happened. All right.
I'm surprised that he got away. Like, didn't get it worse than that.
No. Something happened because we're seeing more of this, and then out of nowhere, with very little advertising, very little low budget actually, a movie comes called Citizen Vigilante.
Yeah.
Okay. And the director explains the film's success, calling it an inconvenient truth. The movie shows an inconvenient truth that all other movies out there don't want to show or try to sugarcoat in their productions. The audience wants real films again, bold and with impact about reality. The times of Supergirl and all that are over. Now I have the trailer here for you. All right, I'll just play this trailer for those who have not seen this movie yet. Let's watch this.
confused.
The vigilante citizen is delivering a brand of justice that some believe the authorities have failed to provide, targeting both criminals and those in power accused of allowing crime to flourish unchecked.
There's been a lot said about me, so I thought you should hear directly from me. I'm here to help you take that control back.
State, court, police. So you think that they've failed you, but they haven't. Now they will exist to control you.
Do you want justice?
Yes.
Let's get some fresh blood. You walk down the street and you get stabbed or robbed.
He's a real hero.
We need more guys like this.
What does your country do? Nothing.
Our current system is failing to protect our citizens.
It's like the real deal.
He's playing with us.
What if everything they ever taught was utter nonsense?
You can change history.
Alright, I'm almost home. Gonna stop at the store. Gonna kill the stream. Yeah, it's been solid the whole time. It's pretty freaking awesome. Then again, I haven't been out in the middle of nowhere. See ya.